I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Jolyon Horsfall, Co-CEO of SparkWorld. Jolyon, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Well, thanks for having me on, Ashton. Real pleasure to be here.
Likewise. There's so much to talk about with SparkWorld. Your team has some great initiatives. So let's just start off the conversation by having you explain what is Spark, what are some of the solutions you're looking at driving into the world with blockchain technology, and then we'll dive into those details.
Yeah, absolutely. So SparkWorld, we've got a couple of solutions coming. I think our first solution is focusing on the randomized minting and whitelisting issue for NFTs. Obviously, it's an expanding space. We're going to be initially focusing on the GameFi industry, just because it's very scalable in terms of the amount of drops they have, and therefore our solution is going to be more effective in there. But I mean, lots of the micro project specific issues are there's lottery based participation, first come first serve, mismanagement, lack of transparency about how they're being selected for the whitelist and how they're actually distributed. And what we're using is these predictive events, these fair predictive launches, as a community based solution for that transparency and distribution, so people aren't getting outbidded by sniper bots, front running bots. Real users are getting into these gaming projects, and there's obviously that added security around whether there's rug pulls by using our kind of like solution, because we'll pre-vet the team, private or publicly dox them. So that's the first solution that we're bringing. The second is around a guest to earn protocol. So once we've kind of launched these projects, we can also use these predictive events to allow people to leverage their knowledge on NFTs to earn Spark and Avalanche rewards. So that is kind of like a PvP, and we're calling that a project versus project. So will Project A have more volume this week than Project B? There'll be a reward pool of Spark and AVAX tokens, and people have to say this is going to have more volume, and then Project A would win the reward. So it's kind of some engagement post launch as well.
Very cool, and thanks for that intro, Jolyon. So let's first dive into that first issue, because I think that's one that people are going to understand more. A lot of people understand NFTs and Bored Apes and digital graphics for the most part, although NFTs do expand out to access keys and all of these different functionalities as NFT world continues to grow. But right now, let's just talk about, say there's a high-end NFT minting, and people were able to snipe these up for 0.1 Ether or something, and now they're trading at 10 Ether or even 100 Ether if it's some of the top NFT collections. There are obviously things that some people need to do to make sure that they can get access to the mint, and that's a super important time, because it seems like the NFTs appreciate a lot right after that. But there seems like there's a lot of issues, as you sort of alluded to, with that minting process and making it fair and making sure that people aren't stealing them or using bots and hoarding them all up. And now you've developed fair prediction launches, is that what it is, for NFTs?
Yeah, exactly. So we're trying to build another kind of novel solution that's coming to market. I think we see a lot of copycat projects of I'm doing this on this chain, and that's something that we're really proud that we're not something on a different chain. So the FPLs, or the fair predict launch pools, what we're trying to do is combine prediction events with also the launches. So what we've seen is sometimes prediction markets aren't that sticky in crypto for a number of reasons. Liquidity, the APY skew to people in crypto want 10,000% APY or they're not interested. So what we've tried to do is go back to ideation phase of how do you create an ordered list of people on chain where the project themselves doesn't whitelist anyone. So we don't want to be in a situation where suddenly we're choosing the polling method, or we're choosing some off-chain random number generator, but we're using a prediction event. So the crux of it is predict something. So a prediction variable might be the network token. So predict the price of AVAX, predict the price of the governance token. So predict the price of Axie shards in 7 days, and the closest 100 predictions are on the whitelist. Importantly, we can be supplementary or exclusive. So if you're having an NFT drop and you've got 2,500 NFT to drop, we can help whitelist 500 people with an FPL, or we can handle the whole drop. So that's the kind of crux of it. I was trying to say we want that blockchain ethos where we're making a smart contract that can whitelist people that we're not sort of controlling, like we're whitelisting you, we're whitelisting them, because everyone knows that's not fair access at the ground level, which is one of our kind of core key pillars.
That's super interesting that you mentioned there about predicting the prices of coins as an example. I feel like this is one of those lotteries where you have to guess the amount of marbles in the jar, and if you're close, then you're going to win access to the whitelist.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Nail on the head. That's the nail on the head.
And do you see that as the ultimate solution for making fair access to minting?
Well, I think in one sense, there's never a perfect solution to anything. So people who come out and say that we've got the ultimate blanket solution, whether that's, their L1 that they've created or a fork of Arbitrum or Optimism that they've made, and they're saying this is the best. I think, one, it's untested, and two, there's going to be some tinkering and some tweaking. We can't satisfy the whales and the people who have relatively smaller token holdings, but all want to get access to these NFTs. I think it's about, Pareto efficiency is kind of like an unachievable thing normally. Like if you're a government or if you're making policy for anything, you're going to have to make some, some kind of compromises where you have to decide what can I do that's going to benefit the majority of the stakeholders, which is the projects, the communities, and then obviously the people who are getting into those NFTs. So we're trying to make an enhancement on the current situation, and that will be improved as time goes on. We'll be making more features, more accessibility, different routes. But yeah, I think we're having a good shot at making something that's going to bring some positive to the market.
Amazing. And with prediction markets, as we've seen in the cryptocurrency world for the last 5-7 years, as early as Augur, it seems that there's a lack of traction for a successful prediction market that has a lot of liquidity or a lot of traction. Do you see this kind of reward in getting access to the whitelist and other privileges as a solution to increasing the traction for these types of markets in cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so exactly. I think what's important here is the prediction element is being used as a means to an end. Mm-hmm. So it's not sort of saying this is the whole concept of the platform, because we've seen plenty of prediction markets come through and not necessarily get that traction, as you say. So it's kind of combining an NFT minting process, which people are very interested in, and predictions, which people also are very interested in, but sometimes doesn't stick, and using, say, this is just the solution to get the ordered list of people for that. And I think one of the things that makes us quite unique is if you were to mint your NFT on a normal platform, you have two scenarios: either you mint the NFT or you don't. There's no extra benefits. Whereas here, there's going to be, staking yields, prediction rewards, as well as getting the NFT minting. So if you had a game theory matrix where you're either minting on our platform or not minting on our platform, even if you don't necessarily get into the top 100 or 200, it'll be unique per FPL, and you miss out on the actual NFT mint, you'll still get these other rewards. So in either scenario, you're probably at a larger benefit.
Oh, that's great to hear. And it seems like there's a lot of NFT projects coming out, some better than others, but I can almost see multiple per day coming out. So where are you at right now with Spark, with integrating and partnering with NFTs and the development of the platform?
Yeah, I mean, it's a incredibly crowded and crazy space. I think there's innovation happening at a rate of knots, which is amazing to see, but I think it's also difficult to understand exactly what's going to be successful. So we're coming up to launch in the next month, which is exciting, and we're speaking to a lot of NFT projects, with a lot of partnerships about whether we're launch partners, whether they're NFT projects that are going to do subsequent drops on our platform. I can't give away any of the names yet, but we've got hopefully some big ones under the carpet, which is exciting. And I think, as I said, with the gaming NFT space specifically, it's something that we and the team are quite bullish on in the medium to long term, potentially slightly more bear market resistant, although we're yet to see that theory tested. That's what a lot of people are saying, but let's see what happens when it eventually comes. And I think the positioning is good.
Amazing. And so within the next month, you're looking at doing a launch. I'm also curious if you're not just working with these NFT projects, but if there's any SparkWorld NFTs or governance token and the crypto economics of Spark in the ecosystem itself.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be having some, one of the things about early incentivization is that, we're going to have a 1 of 100 NFT series, which is like the Founders Council. And we want to be giving quite heavy governance rights to people who are going to be they'll be released in batches. So it won't be all at once, but, we're wanting people to be engaged, people who are taking time to predict on the platform. You get experience and levels while entering these FPLs. So that's one way we're going to be collaborating with the NFTs. We're actually making quite an NFT hub. So we've got some partnerships with arcades. They do mission pools for NFTs. So lots of games that come across our platform, they'll be able to make these mission pools, and they'll be able to get people earning yields from the games without necessarily having to play them. We've got people like Blockchain Space. They have the most guilds signed up of any project in the world. I think they've got nearly 11,000, which is incredible. And we're wanting to collaborate on get the guilds playing the NFT games that come across our platform. Something like IQ Protocol with NFT staking, renting, and lending. Wanting to make sure that there's a whole bunch of utility available to projects that actually interact with our platform. So that's kind of our goal, to make sure utility, usage, virality of the token. We're wanting to make sure like our governance token, the Spark token, is used in as many ways as possible, as well as the NFTs coming across the platform.
Great. Looking forward to seeing that. And now I just have a question more about the NFT space in general from a high level. As you're developing this technology to get these NFTs off the ground in a fair way, the market will continue to grow exponentially, I feel like. But there's also talks of a bubble or overvaluation of the NFT space in itself. What do you think about the NFT space at a high level right now in terms of undervalued, overvalued?
So I guess the concept of value is how you are explaining what you're valuing. So I think when people say that you're valuing JPEGs at X hundred of million, X billion, then it could be quite easy to draw a conclusion that they're overvalued. But when people say that these NFTs are just JPEGs, if you explain anything in the most simple way possible, it always sounds quite mundane or quite silly. So if I was to say someone gets paid £300,000 a week to kick a leather ball into a net, you'd be like, that sounds crazy, but that's the world of football. I think the same thing happens with NFTs. NFTs are memberships, gateways to high alpha groups. If you're buying like a Boo or Near, or if you're buying a Boogle on Solana, or an SMB, a Punk and Ape, you're getting into an elite section. Or think how many people pay for members clubs, whether they're in person or on an app. I think you're getting that access to these worlds, to this high alpha, to the whitelists, to the concepts and ideas that are actually going to be able to push you very highly forward. So I think a lot of people who understand those things think they're undervalued, and that's why they're continually going up. And a lot of people who think they're JPEGs think they're overvalued for the moment. I personally think there is a good chunk of blue chip sets that are probably deserve where they deserve to be. And then there's obviously a lot of kind of more whippy or scammy sets that are kind of being artificially pumped. Because obviously the wash trading is much easier within the NFT space. The liquidity is a bit more crazy. You can sweep the floor, delist. There's lots of ways you can get around kind of compared to like a specific token that's openly traded.
Definitely. Great perspective there, Jolyon. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that insight. And I think that really helps people that are just getting into NFTs understand, what am I buying, and is it worth this much? And is it something that is short term, or is this something that's going to last for a long time? Now, for NFT projects that are looking for technology like Spark to work together, and for people that are looking for the updates for when the platform launches, to see projects as they come out, what is the best way for everyone to learn more and to get involved?
With us specifically, or just generally in the NFT space?
With you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're very active on Twitter. You've got to jump into our Discords. We've got a great team that's always on the lookout for. We're launching in the AVAX ecosystem, so we're quite focused on the projects that are coming across our desk or our table or our interest forms, but we're going to be making sure that we get the best whitelist spots for our community. That's kind of part of the value add, I guess, of these NFT projects. You've got to believe that that team, those leaders are there to be in all those high alpha groups to get that to you. You know, sharing and inclusion and accessibility is like kind of at the core of this project, and that's what we want to be doing. Of like, guys, have you seen this project, or what do you guys think about that project? Again, with some community members, they flagged some potential upcoming projects that we actually didn't have our eye on, and then we reach out to either our VCs, our mutual connections, to try and spin up a group and get those conversations going, because we want to be speaking to as many founders as possible of these NFT sets.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the information, Jolyon. I will leave the SparkWorld links and the community links, Twitter, Telegram, in the description box below. All the best with the upcoming launch of the platform and with all of the NFT projects you're partnering. I really do hope you guys make a positive impact on the minting of NFTs and just make everything more fair and accessible for people. So please keep up the good work, and let's follow up in the near future.
Cheers. Really appreciate it, Ashton. Have a good day.
Thank you.